Hey everyone, Ryan, owner at Third Coast Surf Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan. Here today to talk about the quiver of boards that I'm going to be taking to Ecuador. We lead group surfing trips to Ecuador. We're also going to Australia in March, but we're going on to Ecuador, leaving Saturday, at least the first part of the group. So just thought it'd be fun to talk about the boards that I'm looking at taking. We'll start right here with this Bing Slim Nose Rider, it's called. It's based off their traditional nose rider, except for there's a few differences. You know, it's still got the wide hips, but it's pulled in a little bit at the nose. It's got a really long, deep nose concave. Single fin, of course, a nice kick in the tail, and Matt Calvani, the shaper of Bing, does a really nice job foiling these boards out. So definitely not too thick. Fits nicely into steep beach break type waves. The kind of surf that we get here a lot on the lakes, and some stuff that we'll see in Ecuador. So that's the 9.6 Bing Slim Nose Rider. Moving along, got the Hustler from Rusty. This is 6'4", I believe. I was actually shaped for a friend of mine, but I've acquired it and surfed it a few times. It's a really fun board. You know, it's versatile. It's got the 5 future fin box setup, so you can surf it as a thruster, or a quad fin, or I suppose even a 5 fin. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's got some pretty deep concave. I think a little belly in the nose, leading to that single concave through the middle, and a pretty deep double concave through the tail. Super fun board. 6'4", so kind of a step-up board for if the surf gets a little bigger. In Ecuador, there's a few good beach breaks down there that this could come in handy. So here we've got the Elias, something that I'm kind of new to. Just started surfing this past summer. I got this 6'6" Peanut from John Wagner through Bing Surfboards, the domestic distributor for John Wagner. The Peanut here, you can see why they call it the Peanut. It's got this parabolic shape, so it kind of comes in here in the middle at the rail. And then this one's got this single deep concave that runs most of the length of the board. And the Elias, of course, are super thin and flat, pretty much no rocker, actually no rocker at all. So they're kind of difficult to paddle and get into waves, but I had some pretty good luck here in some good waves on the lakes, and I started to dial in a little bit before it got too cold to get out on in the 6mm rubber on this thing. It's just too much paddling work, but I figure a month in Ecuador will definitely give me some time to hopefully start to dial it in a little more. The Peanut model is a bit more of a performance model from the Wagner brothers. And then here is a Finley model. This one's brand new to me. I got it from John Wagner. We met them down in Florida at Surf Expo for a surfing industry trade show recently. This is a 7-footer, and you can see it's definitely got a different shape, kind of a squared off tail, and a bit more of a pointed nose. But to me, the most obvious difference between this and the Peanut is the V in the bottom of the board. It's fairly subtle in the nose, but I can actually feel it in the nose right here. But then through the tail, it really starts to get deeper, the V there. And according to John, this one's going to surf quite a bit differently than the Peanut. So I'm excited to try it, see what it's like. So this board here is a Mandala, Manny Caro, out of, I think he's in Encinitas now, San Diego. Mandala is doing some really nice stuff. This board for me has kind of been like my magic shortboard. I'm not the greatest shortboarder in the world, but I really like the feel of a good quad fin, even on the lakes here in mediocre surf. But once you get it in some decent waves, it really starts to go. This one is a 511. I had Manny shape it for me in 2005. So I've surfed it for about 4 or 5 years now. And again, it's just something I'm really comfortable on. Pretty moderate to flat rocker. He made this one maybe slightly beefier than some of his other quad fins. Seeing as how we're on the lakes here in freshwater, it's not quite as buoyant. It's worked out really well. I kind of like having that little extra float for a shorter board, getting into waves more easily, and it's still pretty rippable and super fast down the line. That's really what I dig in these quad fins. So that's a fun board for sure. And then last but not least, rounding out the quiver that I'm taking to Ecuador. We're about to find out if I can fit all this into the coffin bag, so whether that happens or not is another question. I'm pretty sure it will, seeing as how the Elias are so thin. And then this thing here is pretty thin as well. This just came today via FedEx. You can see the boxes here that we just took it out of. This was something that John was talking to me about at Surf Expo last week, and something that sounded really fun. It's his new Bluegill. This one here, I think it's a 510. I haven't even measured it yet, but this thing looks super fun. It's the whole idea, according to John, is to make this foam version of an Elia. Basically, it's supposed to surf very similarly to an Elia. That trim speed and finless for the most part. Now, as you can see, this one here does have fins. These Polonia fins that John glassed on. Not even glassed on, actually. Looks like he just glued them on with resin or something similar, epoxy maybe. So it's a stringless foam core with the Polonia rails. Pretty sweet, kind of the Polonia nose block right here, and then the tail block down here at the bottom. And again, something similar to the Peanut, except for taking it to a bit more of an extreme. You can see the single concave out the back of this board between the two long, shallow keel fins that he's got on there. And then the swallowtail, of course. And similar to the Peanut, you can see how it's got this bit of a parabolic rail through the last half of the board. So I'm pretty excited about this. Just the idea of something that surfs like an Elia, but paddles and catches waves a lot better than the Elia. Seems intriguing. So this is the Ecuador Quiver. Hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you in Ecuador. Adios.